Hey everybody, it's Brad again with another Masterworks 3 video for you. And today what we're going to be doing is advanced auto-digitizing. In the past, I've shown you how to auto-digitize pictures that are just going to work right out of the box, so to speak. You download the picture and can pretty much just hit yes and next and have the auto-digitizer just do literally all the work for you. But today I'm going to go and find an image that isn't quite perfect for auto-digitizing and show you how to edit it down so that you can use the auto-digitizer. And the picture that I'm going to use today is something that I actually plan to sew out because I want to make a hat out of it. So I'm going to get started. We're going to start as with the other auto-digitizing videos on Google's webpage. So just go to google.com and from there left click on up at the top here, left click on images, and here when we've got Google Images and we can start typing to search, I'm gonna search for, and if you want to do this same picture that I'm doing just to follow along with the video, you can. I'm gonna search for something called the Adventure Time logo. Adventure Time is a kids TV show that my kid really likes, and I'm gonna make a hat for her. Alright, so I'm gonna type in Adventure Time logo and just hit enter, and you see all these pictures come up, and this is right here is exactly what I'm looking for. I'm gonna left click on it. Yeah, that looks like what I'm looking for, and I'm gonna see if I can get an even bigger version of this. And to do that, if I look over here at this preview screen, right here next to the size, it says more sizes. So I'm going to left click on more sizes. And here, this one is a little bit bigger, 3166 by 1297. So that's the one I'm going to pick. So I left click on this one up here in the top left portion of the screen. Left click on that. Yep. It looks good. It didn't even have the little TM trademark thing that the other one did, so that's good. And I'm going to view original image by clicking right here, view original image. And there's the picture all by itself. I right click on it, save picture as. I'll save it in my pictures library. You save it wherever you save pictures. I'm going to name it Adventure Time. Now, if you look right here under Save As Type, see this is a PNG file. It's not a JPEG or a BMP or any of the other formats we're used to dealing with. It's a PNG, and that'll be important here in a minute. We're going to actually have to convert this to be a type of file that Masterworks can work with. But it's okay, we're going to save it like that. So we're going to just hit save. Saves it on my computer. And now I can minimize my web browser, because I'm done with the internet now. I go into my libraries, pictures library, and there's my picture that I just downloaded, the Adventure Time logo. First thing I need to do is convert it into a image type that Masterworks can deal with. So that's going to be a JPEG.jpg, and the way we change it is you're going to right click on the picture and choose Edit. This image editor will come up, and I go up to this part that looks like a little file here, and I left click on this little arrow, and it comes out just a standard file menu. Go to Save As, and as I move my mouse over it, it changes. I have these different choices here: PNG, JPG, BMP, GIF, other formats. I'm going to pick JPG, JPEG it says here, but JPEG. Alright, you're going to left click on that. It automatically names it the same name. Under Save As Type though, it says JPEG, and that's what we want. We're going to left click on Save. It tells you any transparency will be lost if you save this picture. Just ignore that. For our purposes, that is not important. Okay, so just say OK. Cool. So we're done editing and saving that. We're going to close this and open up Masterworks. So I'm going to left click on my Masterworks icon. Masterworks program opens up. Close my navigator here. Okay, so I got Masterworks open. Going to go to Tools, Autodigitizing Wizard, select Image, and and navigate to my pictures folder, and there's my picture that I just made. And select open. And just hit next. Now at this screen we're just going to hit next again. We're not going to bother sizing it yet because we actually need to go in and edit this image some more to make it so that this will auto-digitize nicely. So I'm going to hit next. Okay, and it gives me a preview. It shows me all the colors it's found. And here's one of the reasons we want to go in and edit this. Look how many colors this has found. 16 colors. Woof. That's too many, especially for an image this simple. Now, we're going to go into a screen where I haven't taken you to yet. We're going to hit the Edit Image button here in the Auto-Digitizing wizard. And what this will do is actually open up what's called MS Paint, which is what we actually used to save this as a JPEG earlier. But now what we're going to do is go in and see all these areas where the color is different. We're going to get rid of the difference in color in these. We're going to make as few colors as we can get away with on this. So here we've got this purple stripe on the hilt of the sword. I don't want that. This little reflection here, this little reflection here, we're going to get rid of all those. So here's how we do it. First thing I want to do is fill all these red letters. I want all these red letters to have the same base color. And I want it to be this red right here. Now, I've got these different colors in my editor, but I need it to be the exact same color. And to do that, you use this eyedropper tool up here, called a color picker, but it looks like an eyedropper. So we left click on that, and then I left click once on the color that I want to replicate. So this color. Notice my color up here has now turned into this red. And now I go to the paint bucket tool, and this will fill any areas with that color. See? I'm just left clicking once on each of these spots. Just have to scroll over here. On each of these spots that's a different color than the rest of the letter, I just left click once on them. Just left clicking. Now, what happens if I accidentally left click on the wrong place, like there? Oops, now I've got a red part on my sword. That's no good. Well, luckily, your undo up here in the top left corner will fix that for me. So if you click on the wrong spot, then you can fix it just by hitting undo. Just going through the whole picture. Looks like I got all my reds the same. So that's good. Now we're going to do the same thing with these other parts of the design. So here I want this brown to be the only brown in this part of the sword. So I go up, eyedropper tool, select the brown, and look. Just left click on each of these spots, click, 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 and it's all one color. Much easier for the digitizing wizard to deal with. Okay, we've also got to do this jewel here. There. And I want to do the very end on the pommel here. Boom, boom, boom. Cool. Let's see, these lines, I want these to be black instead of blue. Boom, boom, boom. For that part of the sword there. Here too. And I also want the sword to be one uniform color. So I do the same thing. Boom. Just clicking every part of this so that it's all the same color. Okay, my sword's all one color. See, this is going to be much, much easier for the software to deal with. Now, there's something else I need to do. It's a little more time consuming, so once I start this, you might want to skip through because I don't know how long it's going to take me to do it. I want to get rid of all this detail where it was making these letters look a little 3D in the original image. That's not going to be any good. I want to get rid of all these black lines. So what I do is I grab my eyedropper tool, get the red color again, and I have to click on each and every one of these lines. It's going to take a while. And then I've got an additional problem, which is some of these lines are connected to my outline that I want to keep. Look what happens if I click one of those. Look, it removes my outline altogether, and that's not what I want to do. I want to have an outline around. I want to have that black outline still. So I'm going to undo that. So you don't do this to any of these ones that are connected to the outer outline. And I'm going to show you how to get rid of those other ones after I get rid of all the ones that aren't like that. So like I said, if you want, you can skip ahead, because I'm just going to be doing this for a while. Click, 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 click. So you can see that doing this is a lot more time consuming than if you find an image that's going to work perfectly right off the bat. But sometimes you're not going to find that image that's perfect, and you have to go in and do a little editing. And this editing really isn't that hard. I'm just going in and deleting each piece. See, these ones are connected, so I can't do those yet. And basically what I'm going to do is go in and unconnect them. And I'll show you how once I'm done. Clicking on all these spots that aren't red. Click, click, click. Okay, I think I got all of them that aren't connected to the outline. Alright, and now the real fun begins. What we're going to do is actually zoom in a little bit more. And there's a handy little scroll bar down here on the bottom right hand corner. I can just drag it in to increase my zoom. Or I can hit this plus and minus button here. So I've still got my color, it's the right color, and what I need to do is actually disconnect the lines from the outline. And the way I do that is just draw. I use this pencil tool here, right above the eraser. I use this pencil tool, and I'm just going to draw in some red between the black where I want to get rid of the outline, where it's connected. So I just draw in a little bit of red, and it cuts it off. And if there's a little bit hanging there, it's okay, because the digitizing software is really going to ignore some of that. But we just go ahead and remove. This again is going to take a while, so you might want to fast forward, a minute or so at a time. Once you get the gist of what I'm doing here, it's just going to be me doing this for a while. Oh, there, I messed up. Undo that. So if you end up cutting out too much of the outline, you can just hit the undo button, and it'll fix it for you. I never said this was going to be a riveting video. I know this is kind of boring watching me do this, but it's got to be done. So, as I said, feel free to fast forward. Cutting off the lines, And then once I'm done doing this, I'm going to go back and use that paint bucket tool again on all these ones that I just cut free from the outline. And the reason I'm doing this is because it's just a little too complex to have all these lines all over the letters. It's just, I mean, you could do it. You'd really kind of have to hand digitize it, though. If you wanted to have this kind of chiseled look that the letters had originally, you'd have to go in and hand digitize that. The auto-digitizing is just going to make a mess out of it. It's just not accurate enough. So we make it as easy as we can on the auto-digitizer. We want to have just nice big areas of one color as much as possible. And then if you want, instead, you can learn to hand digitize. But really, the auto-digitizer on this does a surprisingly good job. I've poo-pooed the auto-digitizer on this on a number of occasions before I started making these videos, and just making them really made me kind of realize how powerful this digitizer is. It's really just all about having the right artwork. And I remember back in the day, you had like palette, you'd have to go and do this kind of thing just to make the most basic pictures. You'd have to go in and edit these outlines, and the interface was horrible. This isn't so bad, I mean, really, it's time consuming, sure. It's pretty easy. Just go in and cut this stuff out of here. You know, I don't have to assign my own colors or anything like you used to have to do. And if anybody remembers Palette Design Center, the way you used to have to, that was like the only way you could auto-digitize your designs in Palette back, Palette like Palette 4. What a nightmare that was. Anyway, I'm almost done here. I'm excited. Oop, look, I just accidentally drew in my area there. I'm going to undo. So remember, you can just undo whenever you make a mistake. You don't have to go and try to fix it. Yeah, there we go. I'm getting sloppy here. Just cut out too much of that area. Okay. Oh man, we're almost there. 2 more letters. Of course, then I gotta go and use that paint bucket to make all this stuff red. Ah. Jeez. If you've been fast forwarding, you're not quite there. Fast forward another couple minutes or so, I think. If you're just dropping in. Ah. I'm just using my mouse here to cut these little black lines off. One more. Okay, I think I got all of them. I'm gonna zoom back out using that little slider. Looks like I got pretty much all of them. So now I turn it back into the paint bucket. And if there's little tiny dots left over, like there's a little tiny dot up there, I'm not worried about that. The software is going to ignore those. So now I'm just back to clicking on black lines. And if you find out you missed one, what'll happen is your whole outline is going to turn red. By the way, the very tip of where the paint is dripping off this bucket icon, that's where the pointer is. So that's what you're using to aim. Nice of me to tell you that now that you've probably been, if you're following along in the video, you've been trying to click on the lines. If you didn't know that it was the very tip, like right the very tip of where the paint's spilling out of the bucket. That's where the pointer is on this. Oh, here's one I missed. Watch, I'm gonna click it. Yep, just turn my whole thing red. I'm gonna undo that. Go back to my pencil. Cut it off. Paint bucket. All good. One line at a time. All the way through the design. I tell you what, this better auto-digitize nice after I do all this work. Okay. We're almost there. Okay, I think that's it. Cool, I got all the lines out of there. Now, one last bit of editing I want to do is I want to get rid of this shadow, because I don't want to have that in my final design, the shadow that's all around here. And the way I'm going to get rid of it is I'm actually going to select its color and fill the entire background to be that color. So all these areas that stayed white, I'm just going to left click on them. See, the software will automatically get rid of whatever the background color is. So I handily just got rid of the gray by making the whole background gray. Alright, that'll do. So here I go up here, save as JPEG, and I'm going to save it reduced color logo, and then I'm going to exit. Now, to get this to accept my changes, it's kind of weird. I have to cancel this, go back to Autodigitizing, select the image again, this time selecting Reduce Color Logo, the one I just created. Hit Open. Next. This time I'm going to set the size. I'm going to do, see, I'll start it at 200 millimeters wide. That's 8 inches wide. And then I like to digitize it big and size it down rather than go the other way. Start off with the size for the hat. So here we go, Adventure Time. Alright, just hit next. And we'll see how many colors it picks up this time. 8 colors, that's much better. Good. Okay, I'm going to hit next again. Okay, so here it's showing me the outlines that it sees. And that looks pretty good to me. I'll just hit next. Tell it to always trim, otherwise leave the other stuff the same, and hit finish. It's going to think about it. It's doing the digitizing now. And there is my design. Okay. So it looks relatively good to me. Let's put it in 3D. Well, I see a problem right off the bat here, and that's that the outline is sewing out first. If you look in the sequence view here, the black is sewn out first. That doesn't make any sense. Why would it go and sew out the black and then put the red on top of it? That would be dumb. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to left click on, in our sequence view, we're going to left click on the black and then right click it. So you left click it to select it and then right click it to open up the drop down menu. Go to move and hover your mouse over where it says move and then choose last. That's going to move that last. There we go. That's much better. Yeah, that'll do. Only thing I can think of now that I want to change is these two, the pommel and the hilt of the sword. I want them to be the same color. So I'm going to select, I'm going to hold down Control and left click on each one. So I've got both this orange and this tangerine color. I'm going to make them both orange. And then I'll do a, I'll go up to modify and choose color sort, and that'll combine those colors. Or not. Well, for whatever reason, oh, because it's got to sew out in that order. I see. It wants it to sew out in that. Well, that's fine. We'll have to just thread it twice. Or actually, you know what? I could just put it up. I can just move it so that, yeah. That'll work. I just moved it so that that sews out next, so that I don't have to take my, take my thread out and put the same color thread back in. For whatever reason, it wouldn't let me color sort it. Sometimes it's just, it decides that it has to sew out in that order and it won't let you color sort, whatever. So anyway, here's my design. And it looks fine to me, pretty much. I mean, could I do a better job if I was hand digitizing it? Yeah, but it would take a lot longer to do it, and this looks pretty good, really. So I'm gonna save it, and I'll sew it out, and I'll take a picture of my test pattern that I sew out, and I'll have it at the end of the video. So maybe I'll put it up here. I'll talk about it now. I haven't put it up yet, but I'll add it in at this part where I'm talking. Look how good it came out. I sewed it out, and it sewed out nicely, I hope. All right, well, oh, you know what? Let me go ahead and show you how to save it. So in case you forgot, you hit the little magic Masterworks 3 ball. Save as. We're going to save it first as a BLF file. Adventure Time logo. Hit save. And then again. Save as the second time as a PES. And hit save. And we're done. Oh, come on. You're going to harass me about some kind of number of stitches? Would you like to save it anyway? Yes. You know what? I think it's because I have... Yeah, because I've got a small hoop selected. That's why it's giving me all this guff here. If your software ever starts doing that to you when you're trying to save something, just make sure that you don't have the little teeny tiny hoop selected. Like I have a 4x4 hoop selected, and that is way too small to fit this design in. Although, you know what, this is dumb. I was going to sew this out to put on a hat. That's way too big to put on a hat. So Here, we'll put it in the 4x4 hoop. Here, what we'll do is actually set it so that it fits in this hoop. Hoop, fit hoop. There we go. So if you go to hoop and then choose fit hoop, it'll make it so that it's small enough to fit in whatever hoop you chose. So at any rate, there it is. Sewed out. I'll go sewed out. This would fit in a hat hoop. So I'm not going to have it sewn out on a hat yet because I don't have the hat. But I will sew it out on a piece of cloth. I will have already put the picture up by now. So that's it. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.